Hello, everybody. So let's have another look at some Python jobs in the UK. I know for those of you in other countries, you might find it interesting. Just always good to see what other countries are like for sort of careers, employment, and so on. Not necessarily saying you might want to emigrate to the UK, but it's always nice just to compare what's the kind of market rate for different jobs and what are not just the money side of things, but also the types of skills that are required in a given country. And yeah, it's just nice to kind of have a little browse through. So what I'm looking at here is Python, work from home in the UK. We've got various other filters. We could filter by IT and telecoms, accountancy, engineering, strategy, consultancy, banking, and so on. Yeah, I saw a video the other day. I think it's Code Basics was talking about domain knowledge. Now, obviously, that's quite a good help. If you got domain knowledge in a specific area, then that's going to give you kind of a boost in your chances. So if you've got an IT and telecoms background, then probably you want to be looking at that if that's what you want to continue doing. If you want to kind of make a career change, then or sector change, should we call it, specialisms, sectors maybe often called as well. Anyway, I digress. Let's have a look at the first job today. So I'm going to choose, these are featured, so I'm just going to go to recent because the featured ones are basically sponsored, and obviously that skews the results. That's an outlier, so to speak, shall we say. So computer programmer, remote working available. Here we go. Here's the catch. I don't know where Witham is, but so straight away I'm thinking it's probably 2 or 3 days a week in the office, is it? Our client is looking for a meticulous and technically skilled computer programmer to develop and maintain system software and computing infrastructure. That sounds so vague. The computer programmer's duties will include managing systems performance, providing tech support, reviewing and updating existing programs, identify. This is one of the vaguest. Okay, so already I'm looking down at what they want. They want Python, Ajax, PHP, HTML, .NET, DOT. Okay. ETL, dashboard creation. Sounds like you would probably be yeah. You'd be at the mercy of the management. The management would constantly be asking you for reports, as we see. Reports, dashboard, and where else did we see? Providing tech support. Now that rings alarm bells. If you're trying to do some programming and you got a phone ringing non-stop, no, let's skip past that. We're not interested. Bye. Backend software engineer, Python Flask API. Already the salary looks. So it's a med tech startup. So obviously its salary is quite eye-catching. Hybrid WFH. So before we go and have a look at that, I just want to. Let's just. Do you like the new browser, by the way? I'm using Brave. Brave browser. So what percentage of startups fail? Here we go. So this is quite an older. As of 2019, startup failure rates are around 90%. Okay, that doesn't sound too good, does it? Let's just look at it anyway. I think whether it's actually a job that you want to apply for, it's a bit like window shopping, isn't it? This is just more being nosy, really. So hybrid WFH. Hybrid WFH means they'll let you work from home some days, and the rest of the time they'll want you in the office, I should imagine. They put WFH probably just to get that keyword in the job listing and get people's attention. You could be progressing your career at a medtech startup. The core product is an app to empower cancer patients to manage their health and well-being throughout their treatment. It intelligently integrates data on medication, symptoms, and side effects with lifestyle data such as exercise, sleep, and diet, using AI to understand patterns and triggers in the data, as well as enabling direct access to medical staff. Okay, so somebody who's got cancer has now got their mobile phone plugged in on their bedside table about about 1 foot away, about 40 centimeters away from their head. Sorry, I'm being a bit negative there, but so they want somebody Python, Flask, API, AWS, SQL, Alchemy, PostgreSQL, Pulumi. I've not heard of Pulumi. IAC, so infrastructure as code, Docker, AWS. You place heavy emphasis on code quality and ideally have experience with detox testing and Circle CI. Okay, anybody know what those are? If you do, drop a comment. Anyway, let's carry on. We've got a few to get through here. Senior DevOps engineer, work from home. Innovative tech company that enjoy finding better ways to solve complex technical problems across the globe, some of which are used by millions every day. We bring together experts from diverse backgrounds and experiences and collaborative, and see what this is all about. And yeah, all the usuals: Docker, Kubernetes, Puppet, Chef, sort stack. So AWS expert, yeah. It's almost like if you want to be a professional Python programmer, you really have to just have AWS expertise, I would almost say, on your CV. If that's not your bag, then yeah, you're gonna have to look elsewhere. Try and carve out your own niche. No wonder people are kind of shunning some of that in looking elsewhere for blockchain jobs and so on, is it? Junior graduate data scientist, work from home. So salary 30 to 40,000. The successful junior graduate data scientist likely to have relevant background, ideally a master's or PhD in computer science. A PhD, and the salary is 30 to 40,000 pounds. So in the UK, because of inflation, to be honest, the average salary I believe is now about £34,000, or the median even. Let's just look up median salary UK 2020. I think better put 2021 because I doubt if there's any data yet for 2022. This is ONS, the Office for National Statistics. Median. Why weekly? They're listing it weekly. £611 per week. What's 611 times 52? Calc. 611 times 52. Why did... I can't even use a calculator today. 611 times 52 equals 31722. So if you went in if you got the lower of that pay grade, you'd actually be getting less than the national average wage. Not the minimum wage, the average wage. I'm sure if it's your first job, you'd be pleased to do it, and yeah, you'd get some good experience under your belt, maybe. But data, advanced analytics, AI, data scientist, part of a well-established company investing in new software and related products. Flexible remote working options. Flexible remote working options, again, means you'd probably need to be in the office. Yeah, there we go. 1 to 2 days per month in the offices. But this is in Southeast England, so if you live in kind of Cornwall or Manchester, then it's a little bit of a drive on this country's congested roads. 3 years experience in data scientist role. Desirable skills, commercial experience with AWS. Yeah, AWS is everywhere. If you've seen my series on Google GCP, you obviously gather that. Well, my main reason for choosing to learn or study GCP was that you got 3 months free credit or free usage, effectively. I think definitely with Microsoft, and I think with Amazon, you're more likely to get, how should we say, accidentally charged for your trial or whatever their version of a trial is. Personally, I just wonder if there's too much emphasis put on the actual cloud platform side of things. You need to be able to solve problems, and if you need to understand sort algorithms, or even if you don't and haven't written any C, you need to understand the mechanics of how Python works. So, for instance, a deep copy. So obviously a function works on a copy of a variable. So I think you'll be a better programmer through your career if you learn another language rather than learning how to configure a VM instance on. Obviously, you need to understand how to configure a VM instance on Amazon, but how to do the real nitty gritty, and if you're doing it through the GUI, there's so many options and drop downs, and plus then you end up with all the obviously you do need to understand the IAM, the access management side of things, because otherwise security is no good, and that is probably the worst thing that you could possibly do, is have bad security on your program or app or whatever. So software QA engineer, there's lots of jobs for testing out there, but I think you've got to be a very specific type of character to want to be doing a testing job. When I say testing, I mean unit testing and all of the testing frameworks, and again, thus using frameworks. And once you go down the route of learning a framework, it's called in economics it's called opportunity cost. So if you learn one framework, then obviously the time you're investing in that is time you're not spent learning something else. And if you learn a framework and then that framework gets kind of overtaken by a better one or a different one, then all that time you invested is diminished, shall we say. It's not totally wasted, because many things are kind of transferable, and as core concepts are often quite similar. Forensic data analytics manager, that sounds interesting. So let's see what all that's about. We got work from home. Use advanced analytics in SAS, SQL, and Python to identify trends within large data sets. So experience with visualization tools such as Tableau, Power BI, or similar is advantageous. The problem with some of these visualization tools is you are going to be producing reports for senior stakeholders. I don't know about you, but one of the reasons I like coding is that I don't have to deal with annoying people quite so much. But without tiring everybody with the same brush, senior stakeholders, senior means they have more authority and they're higher up the organization. Stakeholder means, they're on the same project as you or whatever. So basically they tell you what to do, and one of the biggest problems I've ever had is with management, they either they're always very busy, so they don't have enough time to actually give you, particularly if they come from a sales background, they're always rushing around and they're too busy to actually explain to you exactly what it is they want you to do for them. So then you spend a lot of time doing what you think they've asked you to do because they didn't give you clear instructions. And then when you've done it, they say, "Oh no, that's not right. That wasn't what I asked for." So basically, if they spend a few more minutes or whatever explaining exactly what they want, they will get a better outcome. So yeah, I know this isn't sales, but it's senior stakeholders, financial loss. So anyone from sales or finance, kind of a senior sales or finance person, yeah, enough said. Let's keep going. And we've got security engineer. Work from home, OME, around 3. Is OME the same as home? So very attractive salary, but then again, if you need to be in London or near London, then high salary only barely cancels out the high cost of living. So here we go, usual things. Amazon Web Services, Kubernetes, cryptography and networking. So obviously RSA, SSH and all that good stuff. OWASP, top 10 and secure web development, penetration testing, Burp Suite. Again, that's a framework. If you've ever used Kali Linux, you'll know about Burp Suite and things like that. Logging and dashboarding. So yeah, dashboarding again. Ethical hacker, CEH, is desirable. That's a very, if you've ever looked into it, that's a very big, long, lengthy exam with lots of specialist knowledge. So yeah, not to be sniffed at. Yeah, no pun intended. Yeah, ethical hacking. The ethical hacking, I think I've looked at many times in the past and thought, oh, that sounds really interesting, but sooner or later you end up getting dragged it down the Microsoft. Obviously, because Microsoft is one of the operating systems that gets hacked. You need to understand how to hack it, how to stop it being hacked, and so on. So, if you've gone down the career path of Linux, Cisco, networking, Python, open source, you may be reluctant to go back into ethical hacking and have to kind of learn or relearn a lot of the Microsoft stuff. So, yeah, not putting you off, but that is probably one consideration. Senior BI development. BI, to be honest with you, I don't even know what that means. Is that business intelligence? I think it is, isn't it? And there's a thing called Power BI, which again, I think is that Microsoft? Sorry if you're a big Microsoft fan. I don't want to annoy you, but yeah, chances are if you followed this channel for a long time, you kind of get the gist that it's primarily open source based. Quantitative data scientist. So yeah, I had a call from a recruiter last week, and they were actually saying that it's very difficult to get jobs or find applicants for certain Python or coding jobs at the moment because there's kind of a not gold rush, but or even a brain drain, but there's just many people are being drawn into kind of data science, ML, and AI, which is good if that's what you want to do. And I expect all your universities are probably selling that because they make profit out of taking in students. So yeah, fair play to them. And obviously there's a big need for that, and not all AI is kind of totalitarian, although some of it does seem to be. And if you're interested in that, then I suggest you look up CBDC, central bank digital currencies, and what are the other things? Social credit score, social credit score, things like that. So there's a lot of talk that if with the Great Reset, if anybody's heard of the Great Reset, just look it up. The Great Reset and the WEF. I can't say too much more because it would make me maybe get deplatformed or something. It's a little bit controversial, I believe, and I'll get done for misinformation, whereas in actual fact it's not misinformation at all. So anyway, yeah, that's my thoughts on AI. And it might sound slightly, oh, you're a bit of tinfoil hat person, but you've only got not wash your news because that's but you've only got to be aware of or look at facts and data about what is going on in the world. If you saw my previous video where I looked at some hypothetical injection trial data with all of the side effects, then that was straight from the hypothetical company beginning with PFZ. So, yeah, sorry if I've gone off on a tangent. Let's carry on looking at jobs, and we've got data, DevOps. So, yeah, data, DevOps, AWS. There's a bit of a theme here, isn't there? And obviously, these jobs are listed on one of the kind of most famous recruitment sites in the UK. So I don't know if you know, but in the UK, I don't know what it's like in other countries, but for kind of a mid-level job, the recruiter typically gets 15 to 20% of the annual salary as the fee or the commission. So obviously, if they place somebody on a £50,000 a year job, then they're going to get, say, 20% of that. So they could get £10,000 for recruiting a successful candidate. I think candidate is what they call it. So what I'm trying to say is they would probably not really be interested in listing jobs where the job only pays £25,000. There are some, but I think in general their priority is probably to list. And also, if you're an employer, you're probably not going to want to pay Reed all that money just to get somebody who you want to come in and start at the bottom. And for instance, somebody who hasn't got any AWS skills, or somebody who isn't a Django expert, and so on. So data, digital analyst. So it's all data analyst, data analyst. Okay. That's very specialist. Algorithm latency. That's gonna, yeah, trading firm. That's astronomical salary. Let's just look at it, but I think I think you're going to need a brain the size of a house to be able to do that job. So you have expertise in modern C++, £170,000 a year is unbelievable. Can you even imagine earning that much? If I was earning that much, I wouldn't be making YouTube videos, that's for sure. Ultra low latency trading systems. So if you're not familiar, what they do is they basically that'll be an automated system that buys financial or buys stocks or bonds or whatever. It will buy things and then it would wait in very large amounts of money, so millions of pounds worth of a certain stock, and then as soon as it's moved up by 1%, it will sell it. And what it's trying to do is do this faster than its competitors. So it's just a race against time between all of these trading platforms. Obviously, there's some quite complex algorithms going on there. So they'll be looking at things like layer 1, layer 2 order books. They'll be looking at just price movements and moving averages, 50-day moving averages, 200-day moving averages, and so on. So Fibonacci sequences. Again, don't quote me on this because I'm not no expert, but those are the sort of things that you may hear of and come across when you're looking at anything to do with automated trading and financial platforms. Test automation. Silicon Valley company are #1 in the field and expanding their current let's have a look at this. So, I mean, test and automation might be a way to get your foot in the door. So certainly don't, if you're trying to just get started, then this is probably something to look at. Different components of the system need testing, from basic installers through to smaller subsystems such as disk access, networking ports, cloud protocols. Training start with a week-long formal course to learn about the project, followed by hands-on, on-the-job projects. They have a very informal team structure. The culture promotes freedom to work autonomously and implement things the way an engineer thinks best. They have flexible working arrangements. You can work from home most of the time if preferred. Okay. So they want previous QA or testing experience, software test automation. Okay, so yeah, PyTest, unit test, and all that stuff. And frameworks, no doubt. So yeah, really, you can't just learn Python in isolation. Obviously, a framework is key. Product support analyst. Cloud platform engineer. So really, that is your 90% cloud platform engineer, 10% Python code person. Yeah, DevOps, data engineer, data, technical support engineer. Problem with support is you'll end up having to use a ticketing system, and if anybody's worked in support and used the ticketing system, you'll know that you get a team leader who will be doing graphs on your and doing what do they call them? Not P2P, one-to-ones. Oh yeah, they'll put in your shared calendar. You'll get team leader will have a one-to-one with you each week, fortnight, or month, and they'll look at your tickets and they'll analyze whether you communicated correctly with the customer. And often the customer, in inverted commas, could be a complete that's all I'm going to say. Read between the lines. Work 1 to 2 days a week when you're in the office in Cambridge. No good. Technical support up to £50,000. Yeah, it sounds really good, but could be an absolute nightmare. Technical support. Support means you have to deal with humans. Technical means, so you've got to struggle with humans on the support side, and you've got to struggle with hardware and software on the technical side. So you've got the worst of both there, really. Technical support. So I think the problem is I've put in, I just put in Python, work from home Python. What I should have gone was developer jobs, really. Wow, there's some contract stuff. Senior Python developer, £60,000. Market leader, I can't even say it. Sustainable Timber Joinery Products is hiring a senior level Python developer. Good luck with getting some wood at the moment. Yeah. SaaS, software as a service, Python, Odoo, ERP, GCP, PostgreSQL, documents. Odoo? I don't ERP, enterprise, blah blah blah. Engineering lead. Clear understanding and proficiency in multiple software languages such as C, Java, Dart, and scripting languages, Python, Node.js, Perl. Yes, again, framework. I'm not entirely sure what Odoo ERP is, but span retail, construction, manufacturing, logistics, e-commerce, and SaaS. It's probably quite an interesting job, to be honest. if you know what Odoo is. If you don't, then they'll probably you'll need to be exceptional to compete with somebody who does have some Odoo experience. Work from home, private wealth management company, IT data monitoring, contract Python developer, work from home. Data science techniques. So I think big platform update. So I think let me just scroll down. You can look at that while I talk. There we can see Python, NumPy, Pandas, C, Django, Flask, Celery, Rabbit, JavaScript, React, Linux, Docker. That's a lot of technologies used. NumPy and Pandas, I would say, are probably the key things there. At least one framework such as Django or Flask. Yeah, so design, test, new features, apply agile development, test-driven development. So if you stick, there's a thing with test-driven development called coverage. Now, when you write, when you start a Python project with TDD, test-driven development, what you actually do at first is you write the tests. You write the tests before you write any code. And then what you do is you write the code to pass the tests. JIRA task management. I don't know what they are. What is JIRA management tools? Yeah, so has anyone else tried the Brave browser? I quite like it. I'm not sure how quick it is, but on Linux, browsers are never that quick. Is JIRA a framework as well? It was initially created to help developers track bug tickets. Now, all kinds of agile teams use JIRA for project management. Because it was designed for development teams, JIRA operates a little differently from other project management tools. It's packed with features and options. Pricing. Okay. Let's look at the pros. Okay, it's very plug-inable. Streamlined communication. So it's a glorified ticketing system. Okay, fine. I guess, so that's a contract job anyway, so yeah. So data science, machine learning, that does see, so even though we're now looking for Python developer, it still kind of seems to be a lot of data science, machine learning. That does seem to be, really that is the strength of Python, so it's no real surprise. I probably should have said that earlier. So it's either machine learning or it's kind of Django. I guess the other reason why Django and Python, why the front end and having a front end in Django is so good is because it's kind of a framework which allows you to integrate your machine learning projects quite easily, or relatively easily. API, AWS, GCP, CompSci. Would you like to work for exciting tech companies who utilize artificial intelligence within the film and TV space to enhance the viewer's experience? Senior Python developer, requirements, strong backend, robust, well-tested, scalable, efficient code, excellent communication. You'll be able to work from home 2 days a week. So 3 days a week you'll need to be in London. So if you're in London, that's fine. But if you're not, then that's a bit of a commute. I mean, to travel from where I live, which is 100 miles from Swindon nearly, then that would probably cost me, I think, well, at peak times to get from where I live to London on the train would take just maybe an hour and a half to this train station in London. So it'd be half an hour for me to get to the train station where I live, an hour and a half on the train, so that's 2 hours. And then I don't know what the other end, maybe 20 minutes walk or taxi. So say call it 2.5 hours, including a bit of waiting. And then the train price would be, I believe, last time I heard it was about £130 return per day. £130 to go on a train before you even start getting paid. And then you obviously have to buy your coffee, which is about £4 a cup now. You need to live in London if you're going to be doing that job, basically. And if you're young and you want to live in London for a while, it's probably really exciting. But if you're not, then Lithuania. I've seen these Vilnius work from home. You may learn towards building REST APIs, possibly towards data engineering. I think they meant lean. SaaS. Total remote working is available. There we go. So that's just a bit of a look at Python developer jobs in what we know, middle of March 2022. So if you like these kind of guided tour of the UK Python jobs videos, then let me know. If you'd like me to look at other types of jobs in the UK, or look at contract jobs or Upwork jobs, then I can do that as well. Obviously, you can do this just as easily from where you are, but it's always good to hear someone else's opinion, even if you don't agree with it. What do you think? Do you think I've talked a load of rubbish and you know of other types of jobs using Python which are a lot more interesting and better paid, and there we go. So thank you for watching. I'm going to wind it up here now. I think I need to go and get a hot drink because we're in March in the UK now, and yeah, it's still fairly cold. If you sit in your chair and you're at a computer for too long, I think just because you're not moving much and the sun's not really out much at the moment, so yeah, it's fairly, I don't know what the temperature is, but 7 or 8 degrees, I think. UK temperature, let's put in Bristol. That's in I don't even know what that means. It's in Fahrenheit. How do I change that? Okay, so today it's 10 degrees. So if you're from Eastern Europe, you probably think I'm really complaining about nothing, but yeah. That's the weather in the UK. So you've seen the jobs in the UK, Python developer jobs in the UK. You've seen what percentage of startups fail? Around 90%. I don't know that's within... Oh, 21% fail in the first year, 30% in the second year, and 50% in the fifth year. That's the worrying one, I would say. 30% in the second year. So yeah, if you're looking at working for a startup or again with a startup, then just obviously bear in mind that sometimes they fail. Well, I don't know why I'm laughing, but anyway, there we go. We've seen the Brave browser, we've seen some Python jobs, we've seen the weather in the UK. I've told you about the train prices in the UK, and we've kind of worked out that AWS data, any mention of AWS or data or AI, machine learning are really kind of the hot topics. And we've learned what JIRA is. It's probably called JIRA, is it? I don't know. Yeah, there we go. So thanks for watching, and I'll be back next time. See you next time.